It's time once again for That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly. That Business Show gives a voice to Tampa Bay's entrepreneurial community and highlights our community leaders, aiming to inspire and educate our listeners. Become a part of the entrepreneurial movement today by becoming a member of the Tampa Bay Business Owners and get your brand on air today. Visit TampaBayRadio.com for more information. All shows available on demand. Now, here are your hosts, Jamie and Kelly.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Focus Fridays on That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business. Kelly will join us in the 8 a.m. hour. For now, Juliann Nichols is holding down the co-host seat, so we welcome Juliann Nichols, CEO of Focus on You Strategy, where she brings out the CEO in you. So, Juliann, good morning to you.
Good morning, Jamie.
And so you're busy, I know, preparing for the upcoming Focus on Entrepreneurs Conference, which is going to be held April 27th and 28th. Any new developments to share with the audience today?
Well, I don't know if we've recently talked about the fact we have a new keynote speaker, an additional keynote speaker.
Well, let's talk about it. Who we got?
Julie Ziegler-Norman. She is the daughter of Zig Ziglar. I don't know if you remember who Zig Ziglar was.
Oh, yes, I very much. My father was ordered his tapes and CDs and stuff when I was a child, and books, and I remember that name very well. It's one of those names you don't forget.
He was the motivational guru back in the day for sales reps, So, but his legacy lives on through his children, Tom and Julie, and Julie is coming, and she's going to be one of our keynotes on day 2, so we're very excited about that.
And that's in addition to Michael Gerber, your other keynote
He's
speaker.
He's going to be
on
our first day, and Michael's coming out with a new book next week called Beyond the E-Myth, so we've been promoting that a lot. You can go out to our Focus on Entrepreneurs Conference website or Facebook group and see all about what he's doing there. But it's a great book that takes the E-Myth and goes beyond that about helping scale your business and grow it from 1 to 1,000. And we're real excited about that because that's mainly what he's going to be talking about at the conference. So.
And tickets are currently on sale. You can pick them up at FocusOnEntrepreneursConference.com, and there is an early bird special going on for ticket sales by the end of the year. So talk about early bird registration, if you would, Juliann.
Yeah, it's $289. I believe that's what it says, $289, and you can get your tickets online. I highly recommend that you get them before the end of the year, as the prices go up after the first of the year. So we're really excited. The Wyndham is almost ready to be open in January.
This is a new facility too, and so people get to see the
Wyndham Grand. It's absolutely beautiful. We recently did a hard hat tour, and it's just amazing. The Dr. Patel has done an amazing job.
Yeah, he was in the news again this week on the cover of the Tampa Bay Business Journal.
He was. I saw that.
Yes.
And his hotel is going to be fabulous. It's just gorgeous and state of the art, and it overlooks the Gulf, and it's just beautiful.
I was fortunate enough to meet Dr. Patel at the Aga Khan Foundation dinner a couple of months ago. Invited him onto the program, and so we're working with his people to get him onto the program. He's a little bit busy, so a little bit hard to nail down.
A little bit,
but a very, very approachable individual. Had a nice little discussion with him, and looking forward to having him on the program coming up down the road. So who should attend the Focus on Entrepreneurs Conference? Who is this geared towards?
Anybody who is an entrepreneur who maybe has been in business for at least a couple years or more, and is wanting to grow. They're trying to do it all and aren't sure how to get past, how to do that. And what we're going to do is help you get through that by through automation, delegation, and elimination. And this is a group, a really fantastic group of people who are entrepreneurs who are putting this conference on for entrepreneurs. So we say it's for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs. Really great host committee, of which our guest today is a key part of that. She's part of the program committee and helping us get the speakers and for the presenters for the breakout sessions.
And you're going to have, 30 some speakers roughly, right?
I think it's down to like 24 now.
24, but still that's actually,
a good... there's quite a few breakout sessions that we want to cover. As an entrepreneur, there's so many different topics that we need to cover and help people understand how to best utilize those particular needs.
Okay, so be sure to, again, mark your calendars for April 27th and 28th for the Focus on Entrepreneurs Conference being held at the Wyndham Grand Hotel in Clearwater Beach. And also learn more at that website, FocusOnEntrepreneursConference.com, and take advantage of the early bird ticket sale by the end of the year. Tickets prices going up after the end of the year. And also there's a Facebook group, Focus on Entrepreneurs as well, so you can join that and keep up to date with what's going on with that. That's in addition to the the other Facebook group that Juliann runs, which is Focus Fridays, where there's an existing poll that's been put up, which talks about what do you think about when you hear the word strategic planning. And I saw that you put that up yesterday, and I saw that one of the options was I get excited, and Juliann was the first one in, and she gets excited when everybody says talking about strategic planning.
Well, that's what we do every day is strategize.
There's like 8 options in there too. I picked the one where one person does all the work and does all the writing and stuff, because that's how I am. I'm very independent, and I have problems delegating, and so that's why I went to that option. But we invite you into the Focus Friday Facebook group and to give us your opinion on what you think about when you hear the words strategic planning, and that's going to be core to one of your workshops coming up here around the corner on goal setting for 2017.
Yeah, we are. It's actually going to be online this year. We've been doing it live and in person every year, and we decided we were going to reach more people. And so we're going to be doing that webinar style, and it's a 2-day, 1 hour each day webinar that you can just, in the comfort of your own home office or whatever, and really focus on what you're going to do for 2017. It's something we've been doing every year, and we just decided we're going to send it out more to the masses and not so much in person, but live online. And
people can keep up to date with the events for Focus on You Strategy over at that website, FocusOnYouStrategy.com, where Juliann Nichols brings out the CEO in you, and she does this a lot of times through CEO exchanges, and those are short, I wouldn't say short, but small, intimate group settings of your peers, and you get together, usually about 10 people in the room, and talk about the challenges and the problems that you're facing, and hear the feedback from your peer group there. And you got to be quiet too. You can't talk while they give you the feedback.
You know, funny, it's recently we had a CEO exchange, and normally we have around 10 people, and occasionally there, we have this rash of like flu or whatever's going around, and we had 2 or 3 people who did not come sick. But the benefit was that the other people that showed up, even though there wasn't a full group, got a lot more time to focus on their challenges. And boy, howdy, what some amazing stuff comes out of that when, you've got all this time to really it was almost like mini strategy sessions for these people. So it was a really, really good session. I was really happy to see how the universe manages to put the right people in the room at the right time, and they were able to really focus. In fact, Rick Toseda was one of our, the photographer here was one of our guests, and he got about 3 pages of notes that
Very
day.
good.
So it was really awesome.
I've attended a couple of myself, and you've got 3 more remaining for the year. You can pick those up on the events calendar at FocusOnYouStrategy.com. She's holding one on the 15th, the 20th, and the 22nd again. So head over to FocusOnYouStrategy.com, click on events, and then you can register for one of the upcoming CEO exchanges. They are $30 and well worth the time and investment. And you get lunch too, right? You're always from 11 to 1, correct?
Yep, our host always offers lunch. Yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead and bring in our guest for the hour. It's Laurie Hill, who's an author, speaker, CEO, and entrepreneur, and she is with Collaborative Labs at St. Petersburg College. Juliann, tell us a little bit more about Laurie.
Laurie is somebody that I met through one of our CEO exchanges. She attended, and at the time, she was the is it president or CEO, founder of the Christian Chamber of Commerce. I'm so sorry. And she just a very wealth of information. This woman has an amazing background, and I'm going to let you talk more about that. But she comes from all different kinds. She understands entrepreneurism, and now she's with this Collaborative Labs, and she does an amazing job of helping businesses with their strategic planning.
All right. Well, good morning, Laurie. Welcome into the Focus Fridays edition of the program. So we appreciate you setting some time aside for the program. So first off, just tell us, what is Collaborative Labs?
Sure. Well, Collaborative Labs was actually, it's owned by St. Petersburg College and was put together by our past president, Dr. Carl Cutler. And he was invited to a large symposium of colleges and universities throughout the United States. And while they were sitting there, you had all these, I guess you can call them competing colleges, come together and collaborate together about how they can actually work together. And it was never been done before. And he left that meeting thinking, this is something we need to do internally within our own college so that we can tackle problems that are coming through and come up with collaboration through everybody within the college, not just top down.
Okay, is this collaboration, though, just within St. Pete College? Is the collaboration extending to other colleges, too, or how is that all coming together?
Thanks for asking. Actually, it started that way almost 12 years ago, but no, now, obviously, we are serving servicing the entire nation for private, public, profit, and nonprofit companies and organizations, not just colleges. We really focus mostly on those businesses throughout the United States, and we take everything we do here locally, we take it on the road. But we basically design and execute strategic planning sessions, and we facilitate organizational problem solving.
Okay, and how did you get involved with St. Petersburg College and Collaborative Labs? How did you find this?
Yeah, it's a hidden jewel. A lot of people don't know about it. We're actually in the epicenter in Clearwater. But me personally, how I got involved, I always call these divine appointments, when you get set up with people and you're meant to do business together. And that's kind of how this came about. I was invited in to talk about the resources I had, and I started listening to what they had been doing and where they wanted to go, and I started throwing out, the cow and the milk. Here's what I would do. And they said, do you want to come work with us? And that's kind of how it got started. So I've been there about a year now.
Now, you have a background as an author, a speaker, CEO, and entrepreneur. Give me a little bit about, your background there. That's a lot of different titles to have there. So tell me a little bit more about your background before you got involved with Collaborative Labs.
Sure. Well, as a marketer, I've been in marketing and sales since I was literally 14 years old, and I'm not stating how old I am now, but it's been some time. And I get bored easily. So as a marketer and a salesperson, I learn, I educate, I equip the companies, and then I move on to the next company. And I've done that a lot. I've been in a lot of different industries, mostly in the healthcare industry for a very long period of time. Recently, pharmacy for over 10 years, and help nationwide independent pharmacists find ways to market their company because they were getting shut out by all the chain pharmacies. Author, speaker, I speak on a variety of business topics and faith-based topics because of my background, and as well as writing a book called I Am in Business. So I keep busy.
Very cool. Now, the Collaborative Labs was begun 12 years ago, and you got involved within the last year. In what direction or what type of growth has it developed over the last 12 years, and in what direction is it going over the next several years? What can we expect from this?
Sure. Well, we have serviced probably we've had about 1,800 engagements in the last 11 years because we're getting into our 12th year now. And we are really excited about the growth that we are looking at because we're developing partnerships with other organizations to align ourselves and make sure we have our toolboxes fully stocked so that we have a variety of different tools that we can offer our clients from even strength finding testing, collaboration with what they're doing with their clients and their vendors. We go about it a little bit differently, but we have a stayed presence on how we actually do our engagements for everyone. But we are reaching out. We've done a lot of municipalities, but we're reaching out to a lot more different types of businesses and industries now. And so we really can suit pretty much anybody's needs. We really specialize more in medium to large size, but we do a lot of small business cohorts as well.
All right. Currently talking to Laurie Hill, again, author, speaker, CEO, and entrepreneur, and with Collaborative Labs at St. Petersburg College, alongside Juliann Nichols, CEO of Focus on You Strategy, where she brings out the CEO in you on this Focus Fridays edition of the program. Coming back from the break, we're going to talk a little bit more specifically about what Collaborative Labs do on That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business.
How many times have you said to yourself, I wish there was an app for that? Stop wishing and start making the world better. Turn your brilliant idea into a profitable business by using Popcorn apps. Their affordable app design will help get your blue sky idea or proven business to the next level at a fraction of the cost of other developers. They will help you get through all the steps needed to make your thoughts become live. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
Teresa Turner is a certified public accountant and the founder of Tax Happens, a boutique-style CPA firm providing small businesses and individuals with hands-on, personalized tax and accounting services. Although we would love to tell you how happy their clients are, we would like you to see for yourself. Tax Happens has 21 Google reviews and a 4.8-star Google rating, 17 Yelp reviews and a 5-star Yelp rating, 38 Facebook reviews and a 4.9-star Facebook rating. What sets Tax Happens apart is number 1, upfront pricing, 2, clear deadlines, 3, personally available year-round, and number 4, a willingness to empower clients to do as much or as little as they desire. Visit taxhappens.com for more information.
Have you ever tried to buy a home for your family only to find out that you don't qualify for a mortgage loan? You thought that after 20 years as a customer of your bank, they would help you when you needed it the most, right? Unfortunately, the banks of today are not the banks of our parents and grandparents, and our relationships with them just don't matter anymore. My name is Frank Cotto, and I'm the president of the Lincoln Lending Group. We all may need a bank, but we also need a Frank, and that's what I'm here to do for you today. Lincoln Lending Group will waive all of your lending fees, which include your mortgage, application fee, your underwriting fee, processing fees, and any bank points. Just call 813-MORTGAGE. You drop the E, and we'll drop the fee.
In an age when the good and the better vie for attention, it is the best that stands out. The best of Tampa Bay from Proudly Florida is the love story for the city of Tampa, celebrating success, sharing achievements, a tribute to enterprise and community spirit. Let Proudly Florida showcase your business to your city, your nation, and the world. For more information, email info@proudlyflorida.com and be sure to visit proudlyflorida.com. If you've been following That Business Show on Facebook and Twitter, you may have noticed the quality of some of our images. That's because one of our sponsors is pro photographer Rick Taseda, a member of the Professional Photographers of America. You can view his extensive work by going to his website at ricktaseda.com or call him for an appointment to chat about your photography needs at 813-641-4757. That's 813-641-4757. Rick Taseda Visuals. Call him for your next event or project.
Savvy business owners utilize technology to connect with customers, communicate among teams, and collaborate with partners. Even with advances in technology, you all know it's not infallible. Where do you turn when your technology starts working against you? Who do you depend on to keep your team productive? Don't wait until your technology fails you. Get ahead of the crisis and contact the professionals at Alpha Computing Solutions so they can show you how to keep your technology running smoothly. Visit them online at www.alphacomputing.com.
Who doesn't have a smartphone these days? And of course, there's an app for everything. Well, almost everything. That's why the folks at Popcorn Apps started developing mobile applications. They saw people like you with genius ideas, unable to make those thoughts a reality. They develop applications for tens of thousands of dollars less than you'll find anywhere else, and will turn your idea into a reality in a matter of just a few months. Think you're not ready? Think again. They are your one-stop shop for mobile application development. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
From the Spectrum Traffic Center.
Good morning. As we take a look at the roads around Tampa Bay, some minor delays on westbound I-4 between MLK and 275, also southbound 275 between Fowler Avenue and Sly. 75 southbound between Fowler Avenue and I-4. Had a crash reported at 301 in Adamo. That's been moved off into a parking lot. Also one in Pinellas County on 54th Avenue North, just west of 58th Street. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson Urich, Hillsborough traffic tip line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Someone you know is suffering from Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. They're dealing with excruciating pain and days when they won't be able to get out of bed. Help someone you know and support the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America at ccfa.org.
Today, a mix of sun and clouds and less humid with a high 75. Tonight, mostly clear, low 56. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and pleasant with a high 78.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly on 1250 Winds WHNZ. Missed the show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here are your hosts, Jamie and Kelly.
And welcome back to Focus Fridays on That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business. Juliann Nichols is holding down the co-host seat for this edition of the program, so be sure to learn more at FocusOnYouStrategy.com. And also check by the Facebook group Focus Fridays, where we've got a poll up on strategic planning and what you think about when you hear that term. And so, Laurie, I'll let you explain a little bit more about what strategic planning is, because that is something that Collaborative Labs does.
Sure. Well, strategic planning typically is done in what we call traditional methodology. It's a big word for we throw Post-it notes on a board and spend 6 months arguing with each other. So, I mean, that has always been my experience. And I've run multiple companies, and people leave angry and in tears. And it's top down. So C-suite develops it, and the rest of the group doesn't want to do it. So it's not usually a pleasant process. And when I first came into the labs and observed what what was going on in the labs and how they were executing strategic planning, it was a revelation for me. People were actually leaving smiling, happy. They were done in 6 hours with a complete strategic plan out the door, whether it was 1 year, 3 year, 5 year. We just finished the Florida DOT's 50-year plan for them last year. Let's hope that they can get some roads done now. But, it just depends on what the needs are of the client. But, strategic planning incorporates interactive technology, strength-based techniques, real-time documentation, that will develop an actionable plan that produces results. And that's what's very different about traditional strategic planning is that you don't leave with tactical metrics, which means you don't really have a plan. You think you have a plan, but you don't have a plan. Our 6-hour program, they literally walk out with people being assigned the resources they need, dates, deadlines, etc. So our process is done through team consensus, team building, accountability, and it's extremely efficient, cost-wise and time-wise.
Juliann, now you say you get excited when you hear the term strategic planning. How does what you do with strategic planning compare to what they do at Collaborative Labs? Because it comes hand in hand, with consulting with CEOs.
That's right.
Oh, we fact, we continue to keep talking about how we're going to work more together. It's a great place where it's a positive environment, and you kind of have to step outside of the company and they come together in a safe place. Quote, if you've not been to Collaborative Labs, you have to go and tour it and experience it because it's an absolutely amazing facility. It's very comfortable. The seating is great. It's really cool. But to answer your question, for us, it's even one step more because we work a lot, not so much with teams, but with individuals who are trying to get to that team status. And so we got to get them into the mindset of, you need to be thinking about when you bring on your team, what's that going to look like, strategy-wise, and how are you going to effectively be able to run your company with that team? And this more is the team is already there. How do we continue to work together or make things happen as a team? So I think in our instances, we're kind of preparing them for Collaborative Labs to help them take that team and go the next step.
Laurie, when people come to Collaborative Labs and they sit down with you all to form a strategic plan, how often is this the first time they've even heard the term strategic plan, or do they have some background at least with some type of planning?
Well, it just depends on who we're actually working with. Obviously, those that are setting up with us, most of them have had some type of strategic planning. Again, it's been traditional, though.
I was going to say define strategic planning.
Yes, exactly. It hasn't actually been what we do. And I think that's what's, new for them. And it's scary. They're afraid that it's not going to be because it's a change, because it's not what they've always done. I mean, we've had companies that have come in, large companies that have been in business over 120 years, and to get them to change their methodology is difficult.
Is a strategic plan just a marketing plan for the year? Is a forecasting of numbers? Is it a conglomeration of all that? What is a strategic plan, just in definition, in the next 30 seconds?
Sure, yeah. Well, strategic plan actually is, it's very in-depth, actually. We go into what we call strategic buckets. So it could be operations, it could be marketing, it could be training. It's whatever those things within the company that need to be moving ahead, goal-based.
So it's all those different departments, the forecasting, the marketing
whatever
plan,
is
the
needed,
budget.
correct.
All that comes
It's customized per company.
All right. Talking again to Laurie Hill with Collaborative Labs at St. Petersburg College alongside Juliann Nichols, CEO Focus on You Strategy, bringing out the CEO in you on this Focus Fridays edition of That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business.
I feel guilty that I can't always be there when Mom feels stuck at home. She was always there for us. But now she can't get out, and I'm not always available to take her places. Someone else needs to help her get around. Then I learned about Home Instead. Now Mom can do what she enjoys because her personal caregiver is there, and I can just be a daughter again.
Are you struggling to care for your loved one? We can help. Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
Hi, welcome to Yeager's. We just want to take a minute and show you what we're all about. At Yeager's, our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring type products, hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tiles, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area.
Been moved off into a parking lot, also one in Pinellas County on 54th Avenue North, just west of 58th Street. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson Urich, Hillsborough traffic tip line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Positive Coaching Alliance. Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit organization, offers more than 1,000 free online resources to inform and inspire youth and high school sports coaches, parents, student athletes, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
Here's the 1250 Winds Weather Center forecast today. A few clouds, not as humid, the high just 75. Clear skies tonight, going down to 56. Tomorrow, sunny and 78. Sunday, more humid air, high around 82. Attention Hokies and Tigers. The ACC Championship is on 1250 Winds tomorrow night. Virginia Tech and Clemson. Pregame at 7, kickoff at 8. 1250 WHNZ.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly on 1250 Winds WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here are your hosts, Jamie and Kelly.
And welcome back to the Focus Fridays edition of That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business. We again invite you into the Facebook group Focus Fridays, where there is a poll up on what do you think about when you hear the words strategic planning, and there's about 8 or 9 different options in there. Juliann gets excited. I myself think of one person doing all of the writing, thinking, and execution because I'm kind of an independent person, but there's a lot of different options in there, and so we appreciate if you'd go in there and share your own opinion of what it means to be involved with strategic planning. Again, talking with Laurie Hill, author, speaker, CEO, and entrepreneur with Collaborative Labs at St. Petersburg College, alongside Juliann Nichols, CEO of Focus On You Strategy, bringing out the CEO in you, and learn more at focusonustrategy.com. So, Laurie, let's talk a little bit more about some of the experiences that you've had with clients at Collaborative Labs.
Sure. Well, because we work with such a variety of types of businesses, the outcomes are different based on their companies, but I see an overall theme that goes over, which is basically they leave with an actual plan and they meet their benchmarks and they have positive outcomes. And we see that with, like I said, profit and nonprofit. An example is we had a company come in that has been in business for quite some time, a healthcare company, very large company in the area. And they were having difficulty actually meeting their benchmarks on a timely basis, if at all. And they reported back to us after even just their first engagement, and they've been back multiple times since then, but after their first engagement, they came back and said that they met their benchmarks from that meeting 3 quarters prior to their expectations of when they thought they were going to meet it, with higher profitability than they've ever had in the company during that time period.
Okay, so Collaborative Labs then facilitates the meeting and the sessions. And at the end of this, do you give them like the actual written plan? Is that part of the service that they get at the end? Like, here is your strategic plan that is written out. Follow this now?
Yes, that's correct. Actually, we have kind of a 4-part team if you take our whole core team, and that is our facilitator, our documenter, our technologist, and our illustrator. That documenter is the person that's kind of our real life court reporter, and they record everything that's going on, not only what is said and who is saying it, but also all the pictures that are being taken, everything that goes through our think Tank technology is recorded on there, as well as goals, vision, mission, and that is literally delivered to them the next day in their hand, ready to roll.
It's
which
amazing.
There's no other company that does that.
So how soon can you have a strategic plan produced, given that the person cooperates with you?
Well, yeah. If they complete their plan, which they do, after 6 hours, they will have that plan in their hand the next day.
Oh wow! So I was thinking this was like a few week process or
Absolutely
something.
not.
No,
We do what's called a pre-engagement with them.
Okay.
We sit down and talk about what those strategic buckets are, what we want to do. Do we want to have any meetings prior to that with any of their clients, any pre-surveys that'll go out? All that information will be used to plan the engagement. Once they've had their engagement, again, 4 to 6 hours if they want tactical metrics, a full 6 hours, and then the next day they have it out and running.
Could they use your service for a business plan for, say, they're needing to get a business loan or something? Because you hear you got to have a business plan. Could you use this service as like a business plan for or not necessarily just for a loan or something to give to a bank, but just a business plan in general for a new business?
I think if you're already an established business and you're looking for further finances, but if you are a brand new business starting up, I think this would be difficult for you because of the 4D process we use, which is it's an appreciative inquiry process, and it starts with discovering the best of what you've already done.
Okay.
And so again, established businesses do better within this programming. Not to say that we don't have a toolbox of things that can be used, and like I said, where we bring those smaller groups together as a cohort.
That's where you would come to me first.
Yes.
And then go
the
to
facilitators, which, I know we're going to talk about, shortly here, but we work with a lot of different entities, one of which is other business coaches and facilitators, so that we can work with them and help their clients with more tools.
How often then should one do the strategic plan? Is this an annual recommendation, or how often?
It depends on how long they plan out. So most people do strategic planning every year, but the irony is they plan for 2 to 3 years out. But again, you have to tweak that each year typically. And in fact, when we have businesses come in, even businesses that have had the same vision and mission for many years, we end up helping them tweak that vision and mission as well, because they see that it really isn't fitting within the culture of their company. And that is a term that is used and discovered and spoke about a lot during our meetings, is the culture, because how are you meeting your clients' needs?
Now, how can you help the smaller businesses? From listening to this, it sounds like this is geared towards a larger corporation, and correct me if I'm wrong, but say you just say one person business that's successful, or maybe you got an employee. How can you help the smaller businesses with this?
Well, again, like Juliann said, we can bring in facilitators, our business coaches that are coaching multiple people that are small business or entrepreneurs, and we can bring them all together. It doesn't matter that they're all a lot of different industries, and we can still go through this process with them, and they will come out with an excellent roadmap.
It's very similar to our CEO exchanges, only on a much grander, more customized, more specific tactics. So when we do them in the CEO exchanges, it's kind of like, what's your challenge? We'll get through it in the next 5 minutes. This is like going in and taking these challenges for the group of us, and we all help each other get there as a group, as opposed to having to have a big, large corporation. And so once you're ready for that, then we pull together a bunch of other people who are in that place that are ready, and then we take them over to Collaborative Labs, and they do their magic.
And then this is done within a few days. Now, who participates in the sessions? Do you need the CEO, the CFO, the CMO, all those different department heads?
Right. Well, we typically encourage our clients to go deep and wide. We tell them to invite people in that they never would even consider inviting in. They can do that during that engagement, or we can again do those focus groups prior to, or we can do those pre-surveys. But that information is really important, because if you're not talking to your clients, your vendors, the community about your company, then you're not getting the input you need in order to be successful in what you're planning.
So let's talk about the relationship then that you have with business coaches and other partnerships. You've used the word the facilitators, which I believe Juliann is a facilitator. Then they go from the kind of the independent coaching and consulting, and then form a team, and then that's when Collaborative Labs can come in with the strategic planning help. So talk to us about these relationships and how you source this.
Sure. Well, we have all kinds of different types of partnerships. The one that you're referring to with business coaches or facilitators, they have a methodology that works with their clients, and they're very good at what they do, but they don't necessarily have all the tools we have in our toolbox. So what we like to do is work with them to just aid them and give them those tools, one of which could just be our facilities. Our facilities are for rent. They're beautiful, as Juliann said. We've got 4 different rooms and 2 other conference rooms. and those are for rent, and everything within our team is a la carte as well. So those people I'm telling you about, the facilitator, the documenter, the illustrator, and the technologist, they don't have to come as just a team. They can also come a la carte. So let's say a facilitator needs a dual facilitator. That happens a lot. Or they want to participate with the client. Then our facilitator can take over for them or a double team with them. Same thing with most facilitators or business coaches. They don't have an illustrator on board. No. They don't have a documenter, but they want those things done. And so we can give them those tools along with some other tools that we have in our think tank technology that they don't have, that can add to their clients, and those coaches still retain their clients and be the resource for them.
So how do you at Collaborative Labs and go out and source the consultants and the coaches to let them know about the resources at Collaborative Labs?
Sure. Well, we're really fortunate having the reputation that St. Pete College has. We have a lot of different resources out in the community that we work with, but we also have a group that we work with within the college that's similar to ourselves, and that's the Workforce Institute of the Global Corporate College. And we team up for a lot of different networking events and community-wide events, but mostly how people come to us is word of mouth. But we try to be very intimately involved in the community. We do a lot of nonprofit work, and that's always just been a standby for the college.
Which, by the way, that is why they're helping us with the conference. And tell them a little bit more about what you guys are doing with this.
Sure. So we were privileged to be asked to be part of the Focus on Entrepreneurs conference, and being part of that, I'm actually on the program committee. So as Juliann said, working, with the presenters that are coming in. But it occurred to me that we have a product, again, that is something that can help the attendees there, even if we give it to them in just some pieces. And so we're going to team up with Juliann and Daniel Vana and the rest of the team from the main stage to go through that appreciative inquiry model, which is discover, dream, design, and destiny. And all those things that are taught through the business coaches will be taught within that realm, along with our visual illustrator will be there. For the 2 days, we'll actually visually illustrate the entire process, the entire conference. And we'll be doing the polling technology, which you're showing on Facebook right now. We actually put polls up throughout our entire program so that everybody that's in that room is valued. It's anonymous, but they're valued. And that's what's also different about strategic planning. Most people are not included in the process, and they don't feel like they can speak up. But during our process, they can.
Not being heard is like a big deal for a lot of people. They just want to know that they've been heard and acknowledged.
Now, you mentioned the Workforce Institute at St. Petersburg College. They've been featured on the program twice.
Excellent.
Tell us a little bit more about how you collaborate then with that department at the St. Petersburg College.
Sure. Well, we're both working with business clients. And so the way that, they are actually equipping businesses to have higher level education so that they have a more equipped staff. And they work with a variety of industries. And we are working with those industries as well. So we partner up with them because we both have something to offer these companies and these individuals together very powerfully that they typically cannot get elsewhere, because they can get the whole package with us. They can get the education that they need, and they can also get the planning services that they need with us.
Now, how large is your team at Collaborative Labs, and how many people, since the year that you've been there, how many clients have you roughly worked with now at Collaborative Labs, would you estimate?
Oh, my goodness gracious. That was not a prep question. Okay, so first of all, like I said, we've done about 1,800 engagements. Since I've been there, I personally don't facilitate. I'm kind of the face of the lab, so I'm out and about, and I've worked with multiple clients, but we do probably about anywhere from 5 to 10 engagements a week, sometimes more because we're out on the road. It just really depends on who we're seeing. But we have a lean, mean machine. We have only 5 full-time employees, and the rest of our crew are independent contracted so that we can run our services when we want and where we want.
Now, for somebody who's listening who would like to take you up on a strategic planning session, how do they go about that? Do they call you directly? Do they go to the website? How would they do that?
Yeah, it's best to call me directly or email me, and that way I can schedule a VIP tour for them, and we can sit down and just talk about what their needs are with their company.
What's a phone number for any listeners out there?
My phone number is 727-424-3429. And my email address is Hill, Hill.Laurie, Laurie, spcollege.edu.
Okay, and again, that phone number again was 727-424-3429, 727-424-3429. Got to take a break, but we got one more segment here with Laurie Hill and Juliann Nichols on this edition of Focus Fridays on That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
If you've been following That Business Show on Facebook and Twitter, you may have noticed the quality of some of our images. That's because one of our sponsors is pro photographer Rick Taseda, a member of the Professional Photographers of America. You can view his extensive work by going to his website at ricktaseda.com or call him for an appointment to chat about your photography needs at 813-641-4757. That's 813-641-4757. 4757. Rick Taseda Visuals. Call him for your next event or project.
Savvy business owners utilize technology to connect with customers, communicate among teams, and collaborate with partners. Even with advances in technology, you all know it's not infallible. Where do you turn when your technology starts working against you? Who do you depend on to keep your team productive? Don't wait until your technology fails you. Get ahead of the crisis and contact the professionals at Alpha Computing Solutions so they can show you how to keep your technology running smoothly. Visit them online at www.alphacomputing.com.
Who doesn't have a smartphone these days? And of course, there's an app for everything. Well, almost everything. That's why the folks at Popcorn Apps started developing mobile applications. They saw people like you with genius ideas, unable to make those thoughts a reality. They develop applications for tens of thousands of dollars less than you'll find anywhere else, and will turn your idea into a reality in a matter of just a few months. Think you're not ready? Think again. They are your one-stop shop for mobile application development. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
Teresa Turner is a certified public accountant and the founder of Tax Happens, a boutique-style CPA firm providing small businesses and individuals with hands-on, personalized tax and accounting services. Although we would love to tell you how happy their clients are, we would like you to see for yourself. Tax Happens has 21 Google reviews and a 4.8-star Google rating, 17 Yelp reviews and a 5-star Yelp rating, 38 Facebook reviews and a 4.9-star Facebook rating. What sets Tax Happens apart is number 1, upfront pricing, 2, clear deadlines, 3, personally available year-round, and number 4, a willingness to empower clients to do as much or as little as they desire. Visit taxhappens.com for more information.
Have you ever tried to buy a home for your family only to find out that you don't qualify for a mortgage loan? You thought that after 20 years as a customer of your bank, they would help you when you needed it the most, right? Unfortunately, the banks of today are not the banks of our parents and grandparents, and our relationships with them just don't matter anymore. My name is Frank Cotto, and I'm the president of the Lincoln Lending Group. We all may need a bank, but we also need a Frank, and that's what I'm here to do for you today. Lincoln Lending Group will waive all of your lending fees, which include your mortgage, application fee, your underwriting fee, processing fees, and any bank points. Just call 813-MORTGAGE. You drop the E, and we'll drop the fee.
In an age when the good and the better vie for attention, it is the best that stands out. The best of Tampa Bay from Proudly Florida is the love story for the city of Tampa, celebrating success, sharing achievements, a tribute to enterprise and community spirit. Let Proudly Florida showcase your business to your city, your nation, and the world. For more information, email info@proudlyflorida.com and be sure to visit proudlyflorida.com.
From the RP Funding Traffic Network.
Good morning. Minor delays on the Courtney Campbell Causeway eastbound from the Big Bridge over towards Rocky Point. Also seeing minor delays on the Howard Franklin Bridge into Tampa. Southbound Veterans Expressway slow between Van Dyke and Hutchinson, and also southbound 75 slow from just south of Fletcher Avenue to I-4. See traffic problems, call the injury firm of Abrahamson Udrich, Hillsborough traffic tip line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Unbound. When you sponsor through Unbound, you not only open the door to education for a young person, you empower a family to build a foundation of financial stability, empowerment, and respect. See your contribution grow into opportunity at unbound.org.
Today, a mix of sun and clouds and less humid with a high 75. Tonight, mostly clear, low 56. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and pleasant with a high 78.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here are your hosts, Jamie and Kelly.
And welcome back to Focus Fridays on That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business. Each and every Friday, we talk about different ways to improve your business with Juliann Nichols, CEO of Focus on You Strategy, where she brings out the CEO in you, and learn more at FocusOnYouStrategy.com. And our guest for the hour today is Laurie Hill with Collaborative Labs at St. Petersburg College, where we've been focusing on what it means to strategically plan. And be sure to take advantage of the poll inside the Facebook group Focus Fridays, where we have that question up. What do you think of when you hear the term strategic planning? And so we would appreciate your input into that poll. Now, Laurie, I'm over on the website collaborativelabs.com, and you've mentioned a couple of times the role of the illustrator, and there is a good example of this on that website there. If you go to the collaborativelabs.com, down at the bottom is a couple or about 5 dots. If you click on the second one, the image dots, and it shows a very creative illustration. Why is the role of the illustrator important in strategic planning?
Sure. Well, Illustrator, everybody's fascinated with the Illustrator, mostly because we can all draw stick people, maybe with hair. So that's typically why it's so fascinating. But the fact is that our Illustrator is very talented because he is able to take the entire meeting and everything that's being said and actually put that vision into a visual illustration. It is done through previous research of the company and then what's going on during that meeting. And so when you see the end product, you realize that this really truly is where your company is going. And the illustration can be turned into a color version, and then it also can be turned into a telestration that can be put onto our clients' websites. It can be funneled out through the rest of their staff or their company, and it can be printed out in a mural form. So there's a lot of different ways that can be used, and that's important because so many people are visual learners, and their clients are visual learners. By seeing that this company has taken the time to plan this entire plan out so that they can best meet the needs of their client, then that person's looking at it and seeing that they've put a lot of effort and thought into what they're doing with the programming.
And so the illustration, is it first created electronically, or is it sketched on paper and then transferred to the electronic version? How does that come about?
We have the capabilities of him drawing electronically, but our illustrator likes low tech in the beginning, so he actually draws on erasable boards.
Okay.
If in our actual facility, we are in our labs, we actually have erasable boards that literally circumference the entire room. And he may sometimes, for some larger groups, like we did the Bay Pines VA, he started in one section, and literally by the end of the day, he was on the other side of the room.
I was going to say, are some businesses using this as a mural inside the facility too?
Absolutely. So it's incredible to watch him and watch that vision. And then the client has the opportunity to look at the entire mural and say, well, maybe that wasn't quite right. And he will literally fix it right there on the spot into their specifications. So it really meets their vision of what they see, where they are, and where they're going in their company.
And we'll be having one of these illustrators, at the conference. And we're so excited about this because they're going to capture everything that's going on at the conference.
In a visual way.
In a very visual way, yes.
It's beautiful. So it's, like I said, I'm impressed with him too. He does a really great job.
Interesting. So again, you can see what we're talking about specifically over at collaborativelabs.com. Click on the second image dot, or just let the pictures cycle, and you'll see this very creative image. And I assume that's one from your illustrator directly?
Yes. It's kind of about what we do.
Very cool. All right, we got about 3 or 4 minutes left. Let's share a couple more stories of some of the clients that you've worked with and the benefits that they've gotten from working with Collaborative Labs.
Sure. Well, I can tell you too, we've developed some partnerships that have been really great for some of our clients as well, some different partnerships, because we believe that, the brain works on so many different levels, not just with you sit down and do this arduous strategic planning, but we make it fun. You get up, you move to music, to your different groups, etc. But we've also teamed up with some other groups such as Empower Adventures, which is a ziplining group. So they will do the strategic plan with us. We'll go up and do team building on the ground and then up in the air on the zip lines.
I think he's been on the program before. I think that was the name of the company. What's the gentleman's name?
Joe DeRing?
Yes, he's been on the show. Yes,
there you go. So they're one of our partners. We're also teaming up with the Escape Countdown. So you get stuck in a room with all of your fellow clients or your employees.
They were on the show this week too.
See?
Escape Countdown.
So it's a great.
No, but we had one of the escape things at the. I don't know if you noticed at the business symposium.
Yes.
We had the cage out there.
Yes.
So we had a portable one, but
there
at the symposium. But no, I've
yeah.
not been to the facility.
So they're
yet.
great partnerships because it's hands-on and you really learn how to work as a team. Team building is a big deal, especially with the growth of the company. So we had a company come in and they had grown very fast. They had only 5 employees, a medical group, and they grew to over 30 employees in just 8 months. And they had great staff, but they weren't working well together. And so they came in and did some very hands-on strategic planning, strength finders, so they can see how they can build with each other. And then they went out and did the team building on the zip lines. So, there's a lot of different ways we can customize for our clients. We've also had a nonprofit come in with an incredible CEO. She'd been with the company for 3 years, really knew what she was doing, knew where they were, knew where she wanted to take the executive board, so for the further planning, but she wasn't sure how to get there. Just because you know what you want, what your goals might be, doesn't mean you know how to get there. And that's what we excel in facilitating, is how to actually get there. And so we planned that for her. She came in. This organization, by the way, is over 50 years old. Came in and they knocked it out of the park.
Very cool. We got about a minute and a half left. Who is a good referral then for Collaborative Labs?
Well, I believe that a good referral would be someone who sits on a nonprofit or an executive board and they're ready for their planning retreat. They all do them. And it's a great introduction to our labs to come in and do their planning retreat there. Or a company that's getting ready to go into their annual planning, or they're getting ready for their 2 or 3 year plan, because there are many people that, again, are going to stop that process because the fear of moving forward with a planning session, and we can get them out of that and move them forward and get it done.
All right. Laurie Hill with Collaborative Labs at St. Petersburg College. A good discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me.
And again, you can get in touch with her, 727-424-3429. 727-424-3429. Juliann, another great edition of Focus Fridays.
Thank you, Jamie. It's great. We were looking forward to having Collaborative Labs at the conference, too, so don't forget to get your tickets.
All right. And again, continue the conversation today and throughout the week in the Facebook group Focus Fridays. And again, please participate in the poll which asks, what do you think of when you hear the term strategic planning? And there's about 8 or 9 options in there. So again, we'd appreciate if you would put in your answer to that, and learn more at focusonustrategy.com, and also more about this program at tampabayradio.com. Again, you've been listening to Focus Fridays on That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business.